some from a friend of mine, and when I put it in the pot and we cook it, and it tastes so much, it reminds me of the rice that we used to eat when I was a kid. And so, took the seed and went, planted, got little seedlings, put it out, flood the field, did all that, understand all that. And I surprised her. I said I could do that and surprise her. And I did it. When she see it, oh, what that you got growing?
In the greenhouse.
In the greenhouse. I said, that's rice. Rice? And she said, yeah. And I said, well, she said, that's going to be a lot of work. I said, yeah, well, me and Peachy and John, we had put it in. Don't worry about it. So she kind of didn't bother. But boy, when she seen it grow, as she seen it grow and seen it materialize, her eyes get big, and she couldn't believe the beauty. And I said, well, man, it's almost too pretty to eat, because I was bringing everybody, bringing them through, letting them see what rice looked like, and they said, man, that's so pretty. You sure that's rice? I said, yeah, man, that's it. That's Carolina Gold. I said, that's the best rice you could ever want to eat right now. And they said, yeah, but who teach you how to grow it? I said, well, I guess the father and me and the native might be in my genes from Africa. The growing to me was easy. But when time the harvesting, drying them out still be easy. But get them out of the husk. And using what they call a mortar. I tried that too, and I find out that you got more cracked rice than what whole rice you get. I said, well, I remember when I was a kid, they used to sell two kinds of rice. Mm-hmm. They had the whole rice and had the cracked rice. The poor people get the cracked rice. The whole rice go to upstate. There's nothing to eat like Carolina Gold. That Carolina Gold rice, that's the next rice to me is one of the best, because it reminds me of the old rice that I was eating when I was coming up.
And when we were growing up, cooking rice was one of the first dishes that we had to learn how to cook. Mm-hmm. Once we learned how to cook rice, we knew we were ready to do more things in the kitchen. And my mother was the farmer in the family, so every day we came from school, we went to the farm, we went to the field. And just before it was time to get out of the field, she would send someone to the house to put the pot of rice on. So by the time we finished, clean up, the pot of rice would be cooked. She had already cooked the main dish. So it's just a matter of cooking the rice. So I was always so happy when I was chosen to go to the house to cook some rice, because that meant you got to leave the field early, you get to go home, sit back, relax, put a pot of rice on, and you better not burn it, because you're not going to be called to do it next time. But I remember that so clearly. Go put a pot of rice on. By the time we get there, we'll be ready.
Most of the time, in the evening, if anything they would cook, it usually have to be the rice, because most of the time their main dish, they don't cook them the day before. They very seldom used to eat the dish that they cooked at the same day. They always eat them the second or third day. They never did, and some of they used to let it set to get the gas off it, and it's more healthier for you the next day. All of your soups always been that way. So most of the time when you come in, if you have to do any kind of cooking, you would probably have to put on a pot of rice. That's about it. What we can do now is we can make some good old southern red rice. That red rice is always a killer. Everybody look for that red rice on Friday night. Red rice with a mullet fish lay across it. Hey, because you think you're in hog heaven. Man, that's the way to go. But that been in our diet for so many years, because you could always go catch your fish and have your red rice right there. The ingredients for the red rice is right here. You got your garlic, salt, and your black pepper. And for your red rice, for that sauce, always need a couple teaspoons of brown sugar. It'll help keep them from biting at you, but boy, it'll make that flavor so much better. And your onion, you got to make sure you have your onion now, because you saute your onion with a little bit of canola oil, but you have your onion, and you got your cayenne pepper. Your cayenne pepper is the key. and your tomato sauce. 1 quart tomato sauce with 2 quarts of water, and you got it made. All right, getting ready to add my onion. Saute my onion. I'm gonna saute the onion and let it get about half done. Just turn brown a little bit. Once that onion starts releasing some of that flavor into the oil, see, and the oil is a carrier. The oil will take all that seasoning and put them all together and can make them taste so good it'll hurt yourself. Just right now, add my salt to it. Black pepper. Tiny bit of cayenne. You don't want to put too much. You just want the flavor. You just want the flavor. Then now, add your garlic. Now, one thing you don't want this garlic to get brown on you. Burn on it. And now, add the sweetness to it. Add your little sugar. Then now you're going to stir it. Stir it all together. You don't want your garlic to get brown on you. And you got to almost be ready to add your water to it. Add your water to it. You want to let it come to a little boil. Then you add your sauce to it. Yeah, this is what we want right here. We want that smooth boil, everything's together, all our flavors coming together, all our seasoning done ready come together. Now we're getting ready to add my tomato sauce to it. And then you let that come to a boil. And man, you will have something here then. Add my tomato sauce. One quart of tomato sauce. 1 quart of water. Now you can stir it. Now you got to let it come to a boil. See, when you put it in a boil like that, that's when the sauce and the water come together as one. Right now, I'm getting ready to add my rice to the pan to make this southern red rice dish. That's 1 pound of rice, parboiled rice is what I'm using. Now we're going to add the sauce to it. Alright, you just want to make sure that your sauce cover your rice. Oh boy, look at that, look at that. It'll be some pretty rice. Alright, and now we need to cover it. Cover it, and you got to make sure when you cover it tight. You got to have it airtight. We're going to take this, put this in the oven on the 350 for about 30 to 35 minutes, and then you take a fork and fluff it, and man, you got some good red rice. Now you got the finished product. Hey, look at that, look at that. You want to fluff it, loosen it up. Oh man, there's some good red rice. Yes sir. You got yourself some good red rice here. Well, a Hoppin' Jones it always was a special dish in the Gullah community, and because the peas, everybody usually pull the peas during the fall months, bring the peas in, and peas and Hoppin' Jones. Why we don't have it? Why we don't ever get a chance to eat it on a regular basis? Because it takes so long to put together. And so New Year's, when everybody go out for the New Year, they go hunting, they go rabbit hunting, deer hunting, and stuff like that. And Hoppin' Jones will go along good with that. Always, and when you got a part of Hoppin' Jones on, don't let nobody ever know. Because if you got a part of Hoppin' Jones on and didn't know you got Hoppin' Jones, you have a full house so quick it make your head swing. When you know how to cook peas and rice together, and when it tastes, because it's all one. You don't have to, it's a meal all by itself. I'm gonna show y'all how to make some Hoppin' Jones and rice using the field peas. Hoppin' Jones and rice always was a staple in our diet. And when you got Hoppin' Jones and rice, you can't keep people out your house. Everybody wants some Hoppin' Jones and rice, but it takes a while to cook because of these little peas. And you got to make sure you use the field peas now, not no black-eyed peas. There's a big difference in between it. They're smaller, but they take a while to cook. But man, it's so good. To make a real great Hoppin' Jones, you got to start off with you start off with your garlic, your salt, and your pepper, along with your onion. Always to pull your flavor together and just make them really a catch me eye is a teaspoon of brown sugar. Man, you know you got something there. I'm using parboiled rice because you might don't be able to find a Carolina Gold rice when you need it. And again, it could be a little expensive, so you could go with the parboiled rice. But if you could find the Carolina Gold, that's good. All right, in this pot here, I got about a 1/3 cup of oil. Vegetable oil is what I try to use. And now I'm gonna add the onion. I got right here 1 large onion. I'm gonna saute this first. Like put it in the pot and let it start sauteing. This is what you want right here. This right now, add my salt to it. Black pepper. Add your garlic. Now, one thing you don't want this garlic to get brown on you, burn on you. Then now, add the sweetness to it, add your little sugar. Then now you want to stir it. Stir it all together. You don't want your garlic to get brown on you. Then you got to almost be ready to add your water to it first. Add your water to it. You want to let it come close to a little boil. That's what we want right there. Now it's ready to add the peas. Oh boy. Yeah, this peas and this amount right here, you gonna have to cook it for about 45 minutes. Oh man, yeah man, this what you want right here. You see that color there? This peas about halfway, about 3/4 way done. And you see the color? That's the color your rice gonna look when it's finished cooked. That's what you want there now. Now it's time to add this right now into the rice. And man, we gonna have some peas and rice, some Hoppin' Jones that you never did had in your life. Good eating. Hoppin' Jones. Now, what I'm getting ready to do now, I'm gonna add my rice. You need a pan like this, a pan at this size, just a small baking pan, and you should feed about 8 to 10 people. But you only gonna need 1 pound of rice. You put it in like that, then now you got add your peas to it and stir it. Oh boy, look at that. That's what you want right there. Look at, see that how rich that gravy, see the color of that? You just stir it in. You can't see your rice much, but don't worry. He'll come right on up top once it's cooked, but this is the way you want it. Now what we gonna do is cover it up with a piece of aluminum foil. Once you tighten it up tight, got it all together, then you will put it in the oven under 350 for about 35 minutes. And then after that, you want to take a fork and fluff it up with a fork. You make sure it all cook all the way through and they're ready to go. All right. Great, look at what we got. Look at y'all, look at here. This what peas and rice and hopping jones supposed to be all about. Look at that. Man, you talking something neat and good. You talking something neat and good. This is the way it's supposed to be. Everybody, people travel miles and miles away just to come get some of this. See, people talk about cooking it, but to do it this way, oh man. That's it. That's your hop and joint.
Why is rice such an important part of your diet here on this island and as African Americans? And we talked about Sierra Leone and how the slave owners went to get slaves that were technically versed in growing rice. They had a high aptitude for the technology that's used to grow rice. You know, the flooding of the fields, the trunks that they were made to let the flow of water in and let it out. And once they realized that they had that technology, they kept going back in different areas of Africa, West Africa, to get other technically those Africans that had that technical trade of growing rice.
I feel like it's very important for them to be able, because rice is one of the biggest staple in the Gullah diet. And if we could be able to get that Carolina gold back again, it would be so important and more healthier than they could ever know about. And I'm looking forward to being able to get hold of some of the Carolina gold again and being able to display that and being able to teach it to the kids and maybe sometime being able to grow it again where we could be able to really have it as like a teaching tool and some source for food, for other meal too. You know, it is so special. And I love my rice. And being able to cook it like this again and being able to keep it and being able to teach the kid to be able to do it thoroughly the same way, because it's really simple. You just take a little bit of time and patience and you could get this right here.
I know the Carolina Gold rice. I've seen it grown and I love, it's just I don't want to say spiritual feeling when you see it, but it does something to you because you think about the origin and how it got here and what our forefathers had to go through when they were harvesting it and growing it. And you just look at how much time it took, and you're just getting one little grain out of, that pod has a lot of little shoots on it, but it's not a lot of grain when you pull one stalk off, you know. And I said, boy, they got millions and millions and millions of rice, so it had to have been a very tedious and grueling job to do. And they survived. And it survived. Now it is it's a staple in our diet. So I have to tip my head to that because they did a lot and they were resilient. And I just want our kids to know, our students, our children to know that this is something that we should carry on. This is something that should be sustainable.
Right.
And in order for it to be sustainable, they have to know how to grow it themselves. Mm-hmm. You know, because if you depend on somebody else to grow it, then it's not sustainable. Yep. I'm thankful that we are able to share that knowledge with some of our students here, some of the kids here in the community, and hopefully we can share it with so many others that they can plant a little patch. Even if they don't grow enough for themselves, they know that in hard times when things get rough, and things may get rough, they know that they can grow something. If it's not rice, maybe it's okra. If it's not okra, maybe it's field peas. And field peas grows like weed. You throw the peas out there and it grows.
something too, how we've been able to foot right in, how we've been able to, hear people talk about them and always think about want to grow it and finally get some seed, and now we finally trying to grow this rice.
Right.
And knowing the distance that what this rice came from, what it means to
Right.
our families, and like she said, bringing them kids in, this right here is an awesome thing. I hope before we finish them, they get a chance to see we come out and finish this out, because this is going to be an education. Even though when we gone from here, we could be able to leave this legacy here, that they would be able to do this right here. It's
Right.
being able to plant rice and harvest rice.
And harvest, right. That's exactly, because that's what their great-great-great-grandparents did. Everybody had a little patch of rice growing in their yard, so they used their technology to sustain them as well, because they used that rice that they grew to feed their families. So, and they passed it on to the next generation and the next generation, and now we're another generation from that passing down. So we got to pass it down to the next generation, how to grow the rice. And if they don't grow it, at least know the importance of it.
I remember we had a meeting at Penn Center in Brazil, and it was the Prime Minister of Sierra Leone came down to South Carolina to have a meeting with us here. And when Mr. Campbell greeted him, he said, welcome, we glad for Una for be here, and we glad for Una for be here. And he just burst out laughing, the minister, and he said, oh, you talk like the people we from. And he said, we always wondering what happened to our sisters and our brothers that were left here many years ago. And we find them now. Here we are.
Yeah.